Welcome to What CEOs Talk About. Do you wonder what CEOs talk about behind closed doors? How they bring their vision to reality? How do they overcome and succeed through adversity? We share that and so much more with each episode. Now, let's get started with the show.
Good day, everybody. My name is Martin Hunter. I am the host of What CEOs Talk About. Now, I was warned by previous guests on this show that I should be energized, rest well before I chat with Marnie and Rena.
Okay.
Welcome to the show. Can you give the listeners name, rank, serial number really quick? Who are you? What's your full name? What's your current company? And where do you stand within it?
Sure. My name is Marnie Schwartz.
My name is Rena Schwartz.
And we are the owners and artistic directors of Vibe Dance and Fitness Studio in Toronto.
And we are the inventors of the cartwheeler.
And we love what we do. We're also professional dancers and certified Ontario teachers.
And we're also moms.
And most recently, we are also writing a book and a few books, actually. And we are go, go, go. We like to
We're looking to inspire and motivate and spread good vibes.
Oh, so whoever's listening, here we go. All right. Words from our sponsors, urgio.com. If you are looking to scale your business, you're a business owner and you don't know where to go anymore. You've been successful. You're thinking about selling your company. You're thinking about growing your company. You've gone all through these avenues and you really don't know where to go. Call Urgio. They will help you take a good look, and they'll use a tool called an ORA, organizational readiness assessment tool, that will help you define what the priorities and what you can do with your company. With that being said, they do operational excellence, they do economics, they do all of that stuff. So at Urgio, it's really about helping the owner really find the next level for them. So when you are ready, you contact Urgio, and then you can be part of the Ready program, either mentorship, full readiness program. Non-for-profits are also very welcome to participate as we assist them into including and maximizing their operational efficiency. Too often, non-for-profits tend to be not as profit-oriented because they're not-for-profit, but you should run a non-for-profit the same way that you do a for-profit, just without profit at the end. So with that being said, thank you very much for Urgio for sponsoring this show. All right. Marnie, Rena, what is the title of the show?
What's your vibe?
Ba, 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 ba. We will peel the onion a little bit later. All right. For the sake of the listeners, before we jump in there, tell us, where were you born? How were you raised? It kind of gives the context behind the speaker, and it really helps the listener really find out who you are. So when you do say something, often at times it's attached to something that so tell us your story.
Wow, big question. I love it. So we are identical twins, and we grew up in a very supportive family where we were never really compared to each other. We were celebrated for our individuality, even though we are very alike.
Correct.
And we grew up as dancers. We're, like every parent wants their kids to be well-rounded. And so we did everything. And then we really fell in love with dance. So we danced our whole lives. And then when we actually went to university for kinesiology and education. And from there, we became certified teachers and kinesiologists. But we actually took our love of dance to the professional spectrum, and we danced for the Toronto Raptors.
Oh,
pretty
no
amazing.
way.
Yeah,
cool.
I know.
So actually, before the Raptors, we did the Toronto Argonauts. We danced in a long time ago, 1997 to 1998.
Don't do the math.
The same years actually won the Grey Cup, so it was pretty cool. Both years they won the Grey Cup. Yeah, and then
when you guys say dancing, do you mean is what we can consider cheerleading, or is it dancing differently?
Great question. So typically there were cheerleaders, but there were also a dance team. So we actually did dances. We didn't do cheers. And so it was very exciting. So we basically did for 2 years. It was so exciting. We were doing our university career degrees at the same time. And then we pivoted and we tried out for the Toronto Raptors dance pack the same years that Vince Carter was on the team and basically put Raptors on the map.
On the
So
map,
it was
yeah.
very exciting. We made the playoffs those years, and it was so thrilling to be in the setting of when basketball really started.
Especially in Toronto.
In Toronto.
Yeah.
And so it's very exciting.
Yeah. And then we were also certified Ontario teachers. So we were supply teaching by day and Raptor dancer by night.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sweet.
we always taught dance and continued to dance. And then in our last year, we realized that we really wanted to work together and take our, education with us, but not become school teachers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we wanted to work together. And
I think from that point in our lives, which we were like in our teenagers, we basically realized that we wanted to work together, and we didn't really see ourselves doing a career that was like out there. And I think that was kind of an interesting now when we think back about it, because most people think you can only become what's out there or what degrees are offered. We really kind of married our love for dance, fitness, teaching, learning, and making a difference. And our inclusivity, the fact that like we want to be accepted for our individual differences and who we are as people. So we basically created a dance studio concept that didn't exist. So in an industry for dance, which was always the same, we basically interrupted it with our studio concept and our philosophy, where we accept everyone, everyone's included. We have dancers of all shapes and sizes, all different abilities.
So our studio is a high quality dance studio with a recreational focus. So our dancers come 1 hour a week.
Or 5 hours a week.
Right, depending on the dance discipline. And they feel like they're number one. Everyone gets a turn in the front row. Everyone wears modest clothing and really looks at themselves in the mirror and says, wow, that's me and I'm amazing.
And it's not about who's the best, which is typical of other dance studios and other sports, period. It's about be the best you can be, which is a very unique concept in the world. I mean, we're all compared to these ideals in social media. We're compared to, each other every day, that we realized it's a very unique idea where we celebrate everyone's differences.
So everyone comes in and everyone is treated equally with equality.
A very good friend of ours, their daughter dances, and it is a cutthroat. There is some nasty shit that goes on from mom to mom sometimes. I'm picking on moms because moms tend to manage the kids and how they do it. But I have seen, and our friend has told us, there is some ruthless stuff that happens, like almost sabotage, right? And they go, well, she's not good enough or she's not pretty enough. And I mean, it's hard for me, who's played rugby all my life, to see how dancing can be so competitive, but it is. There is no, in rugby, it's easy. I scored more tries than you did, so therefore I win. Where artistic skills like ice skating and dancing, there's so many, variables within it that it's very complex for a simple mind like mine to understand. But there's a lot to be gained. I think there's notoriety. It's kind of like hockey where top of the top, I'm assuming, make really great money, and then fame and situation that comes with it. And then, so because of that, it's uber competitive and transactional, where you guys are really transforming the individual. It's not about winning or losing. It's about just dancing. And I think that for me, like my kids, when they were little, after dinner, we'd always put music on and they danced like nobody was watching. All the time, right? And I don't care if you're fat, thin, rugby's all like that as well. There's big people, little people, and I think that's a great idea, is provide the opportunity for people to just show off, because a lot of people like to be upfront as well. They want to be recognized, right?
For sure. And dance makes you feel good about yourself. Like our whole belief is that dance builds confidence. And when you feel good in your own body, you actually we call it our spillover effect. We should probably trademark it, to be honest with you. But the spillover effect is that what dance teaches you spills over into your life.
Like we always say to some of our dancers, what we teach you here at Vibe about believing in yourself and knowing that this is a place of no judgment and where we accept you for who you are, and we want you to be the best that you can be. Each and every week, walk out better. It's like buying a jar of
Nestea or like apple juice,
and you get a glass out and you realize halfway through that the glass is not big enough. It's going to spill over. That's what we want, the values that we teach at our studio, to spill over into everything else they do.
Yeah. And because of that, it like resonates in every single class. And we have a super strong fitness focus as well. So it's not just about the dancing. It's because we believe that as a dancer and as an athlete, your body is your instrument.
And it's kind of like any instrument. If you are in
I love how you said that in sync. That was so cool.
And like any instrument, when you are in tune, you play well. So that's what we truly believe, is that every class has a fitness focus, and it's just so much fun, and we really feel like we're changing lives.
But at the beginning, when we started our business, which was it was our final year for the Raptors Dance Pack, we said thank you so much for all of the 3 years, and we gained so much from the experience, from like an actual client experience. Like we weren't just on the team, ha ha ha, this is fun, woo woo woo, go Raptors. We actually pulled away from it a lot of lifelong lessons in terms of customer service. Like win or lose, it was an amazing time at the Raptors game, and we wanted people to walk through the vibe, you know. Whether it was a bad day or a good day, they leave vibe and they had the best time ever. So it was like a party that they were a part of, but the party only got better when they arrived. So we really learned a lot from all of our experiences. I feel like we really are true lifelong learners. We take every experience. We're going to learn a lot from this experience with you too, and take it with us and have it spill over. And so we really try to practice what we preach to our staff and our students. And so I guess we're now at a point, we just completed it. We're in our 21st year of business. And, you know, our very first year in 2002, we met somebody, you know, and she looked at us and said, oh, you're those dancing twins who came up with the non-competitive studio. How's that going? And we're like, it's so exciting. We're living our, you know, like we came up with this idea that never existed. And she basically looked at us in the face and said, everyone is waiting to watch you fail. And I remember, like, we don't think of it every day, but it was that reality that not everyone's always in your corner or believing what you're doing or standing behind you or thinking you can make it happen. And it was fuel to our fire and realizing, but this actually needs to be something that exists in the world. And, you know, it's we're in our 21st season, which means we have kids that are like in their 30s that dance to vibe. And we realize we aren't creating professional dancers. We aren't creating the next Baryshnikov and the next person who's in, you know, music videos. We're creating confident, strong, capable people that are going to actually do something in this world to make it a better place. So we can't count how many of our former dancers in the past have asked for references, and for medical school, law school, dental school, that are like strong,
that have opened their own business, that have become celebrities on Instagram and TikTok, that have taken their
platform and like celebrated who they are and realizing like they're going to be the best they can be in whatever they do. So that's really like our goal. But now we're sort of like pivoting because we realize we have like a message that we want to send to more than just the dancers who come through the doors of Vibe, and more than the people who walk through or meet us at Shoppers Drug Mart or Loblaws and say like, oh my God, are you twins? And we ignite them with our energy and our enthusiasm and our good vibes.
But our core message is really like that we all create our own reality by the decisions we make and how we respond to them. And then we encourage everyone to really kind of like find their own vibe and create their own life and create only good vibes. Because
now you gave away the title of the show. Oh my goodness, Marnie, you gave away the title of the show. Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna be the ringmaster here for a sec. There's a lot of stuff that you guys put in there that needs recognition. Oh. Joy is joy. And if you find joy in dancing, then you're going to be joyful. Mm-hmm. And you're going to, that overflow is you're going to take that joy with you. Mm-hmm. When we go and I coach kids rugby, out of all the girls and the boys that I coach rugby, maybe half of one will become a professional, maybe two will become a professional rugby athlete. Why do they show up? They enjoy the hard work. Mm-hmm. They enjoy what they contribute. Are you creating, and this is the mantra that I tell myself every single day before practice and before a game. I am responsible for creating an emotional, physical, and mental safe environment where my athletes can grow and see and believe how they can contribute to their team's success. Every day, every time. So 4 times a week, I say that. And so what you are doing is you are using dance as a methodology in your studio to create a safe environment where somebody can be who they are, right? And from what I'm hearing, you don't seem like you're slackers. If you know somebody can do better, you're going to push that person. You're saying, hey, listen, Susie Q, Jimmy B, that was not so good. Like, I know you can do better. And I know because I've watched you dance for 4 years, what's going on. Are you not in it? Is it not a good day? There is nothing wrong in creating. And too many people that are in the competitive say that shame on them. Pardon my French. Fuck them for putting all that negativity on you. But what they're doing and what you're doing is you're making a person feel comfortable and safe in who you are and who they are. And that, regardless if it's a studio, regardless if it's a company, regardless if it's an organization or sports team, your job as an owner / leader is to create that environment for an individual to, can you see me? Can you hear me? Do I matter? I say this often. That is critical for an individual. So good job. Well done.
We actually, in addition to the dancers, we feel like we do that for our staff too. I think that like this book that we're writing doesn't just talk about what we do as a business and what we've overcome, but it actually talks about mentoring our staff, because we say to them all the time, we want to build you up so that you can help build up the dancers. We want to bring out the best in you so you can bring out the best in our dancers. And the truth is like, that's really what life is about, making an impact and using your power as people. Like clearly what you realize the power you have on all the kids that are in your training and like under your leadership. It's pretty amazing.
And we always tell our staff, we are a happy, high energy environment, and we pride ourselves on being that way, but we can only be that way if our staff are that way. It can't just be the two of us. So we always talk about parking your problems in the parking lot and walking in, feeling the vibe, feeling good about yourself, making other people feel good about themselves. And then when you leave, you're actually better able to deal with your problems.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with sport, like once you're in the moment, like once you start dancing, you forget about the outside world. Like it's what really kept us sane during COVID. And we had 3 shutdowns in Canada with our business. And we had to dig deep and stay positive and spread good vibes, even when things seemed very grim and very scary. We had to dig deep and be like, wait a minute, but people walk through the doors of Vibe to be happy, get a dose of happiness and good vibes. That like, it needs to be that way, even if they see us on social media, even if they just, watch a video that we could post. So we're very mindful of that. Like we recognize that our business is way more than teaching dance steps. We actually, funny enough, our very first year, a kid made us a drawing, self-proclaimed artwork, and they give it to you and you're like, thank you. And it was a world, like a glow blue and green, and it said Vibe on it. And we said to her, what does that mean?
And we were both like this, wow, thanks.
Like, it's so cute. And then she looked us in the face and said, it's the Vibe world. There's no place like it. And in that moment, we accepted it and we cherished it. But later on, it hit us that like, she's right. The moment you enter our space, it's a totally different world where everyone is equal and no one is judged and everyone is celebrated for who they are. Secretly, we hope our little Vibe world can spill over into like the real world and have even more inclusiveness and acceptance in the world. Like I'm sure, your reaction was so cute when you met us, but we have people who look at us and think we're crazy. Oh my God, they're like adults and they dress the same. They look the same. They act the same. I have similar license plates. Our family lifestyles are very similar. So, people are very quick to judge, but at the end of the day, we're all about like, if you look at us and you smile, we did our job.
And now what we do, we take our dancers we're still actually have a great relationship with the Toronto Raptors, and we actually take our dancers to do the halftime at the Toronto Raptors 905 games, which is like the D League. It's so incredible. And in saying that, we have a really strong passion for performing. And what they do is it's those moments with, I remember when that kids build on their confidence.
It's like the mountain that they climb, right?
So that
they'll never, ever forget.
Right.
So we feel so fortunate that that's coming back now after the pandemic. And it's so exciting to look forward to having more performance opportunities.
Like we may have danced on court. Well, I'll never ever forget, we did a Raptors game downtown at the beginning. And then it turned out to be, this is a better opportunity for our dancers in the 905. But right now, it was so special. This guy came up to us that worked there, who's clearly worked there for a long time, and said, do you miss it? And like dancing at the Raptors games, right? Part of the dance. And we looked at each other and we're like, of course we miss it. But what we're doing right now is so rewarding, so fulfilling to know that we are actually bringing kids to the court and giving them those lifelong experiences, not just us,
but also
so empowering.
And also just teaching dance and being able to use like exactly what you said. We use dance as a vehicle to ignite confidence in kids.
And we teach them about hard work. We put in hard work in a very short period of time. And then we get on court in front of thousands of people that they can cherish those memories forever.
But I think the ultimate like big message about Marnie and I is that we believe in moving forward in life. And I think that that's the key of our book, and that's the key of our life. We have had a lot of challenges in our personal life with our parents and their health over the years.
And as a child or as children, you can't really control anything except your emotions. You can control how you respond to things. And I think that that's really where like we really dug deep and realized like we need to focus
so
on
tell
that.
us. So let's not be superficial. So what happened? What happened and how did you guys deal with it?
Okay. Very personal here. We're going to get into it though. You asked, we'll deliver. So, you know, these are the things about everyone in life that people don't always know the whole story. But basically, Marnie got married in 2005. And
that same year, our mom got her doctorate in education. She's also an author of 6 books in education. And she was a principal as well. And
she's like our biggest inspiration in life, obviously.
Yeah, she went through the road. You could go down the road of life and say, wow, I could do that. I'll just keep going. I could do that. That looks interesting. Or you can actually say, I'll go do that. Right. And so our mom did that. She became a teacher. Then she became a consultant, then a vice principal, a principal.
She's an incredible female role model for us and for everybody because she really took her passion and
made it happen. Like fame, you know, is that fame?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In saying that, Marnie got married in 2005. Our mom got her doctorate and our dad proclaimed to everyone at Marnie's wedding, you know, I married a teacher and now I got a doctor. And he was so proud of our mom.
Yeah. Anyway, shortly after, our dad was diagnosed with
bladder.
We
don't like to talk about it. he was diagnosed with bladder cancer. And then I got engaged. And when I got engaged, I just dreamed of just having our dad at our wedding.
And
like
the truth is,
for me.
Our dad was so optimistic and so positive, and like he was the life of the party. And he didn't really let his illness really take over. And we were like beside him every step of the way.
And I think that when you open a business we were 25. We're only 26 right now, but when we were 25, just kidding. We opened our business at 25.
Your parents become ultimately your best friends because you can't really tell your 25-year-old friends at that time, like we're taking on a lease and we have all this, risk.
And your best friend is your lawyer and your accountant.
Or basically like you become CEOs at 25 and like, your other friends are still in their professional school or starting
like
careers.
The risk we were taking was
hard to understand.
And some people never take that risk in their life, let alone being at 25. So our parents are our best friends. And at that point, we became the parent to our parent, which is a very different role you take, especially at 25. So
then Rena got engaged.
And so during the whole year I was getting married, like up to getting married, we were like, I just prayed that he was just going to be able to do what he gave to my sister to me. And he did. It was amazing. It was a dream come true. And then unfortunately, 19 days after I got married, we lost our dad. And it's actually crazy because it was 16 years ago, like last week. And, we still can't believe it's that long, but we feel so fortunate and so grateful for the father we had, even though it wasn't long enough. So we were 29, our brother was 23, and it was like, we're a very close family together now. And we tried every day to make our dad proud.
And like we would go to, when he wasn't well, we would go to the hospital during the day and then we'd go teach our dance classes at night. And then we'd go back to the hospital. And we used to always say the Academy Award goes to
Marnie and Rena Schwartz. Because like we would be in vibe mode during the day. And then
we were the example for our staff of leave your problems in the parking lot and come in and vibe.
And we had to move forward. We had to keep going and keep vibing.
We really believe it helped us get through the hard time because we were forced to be positive, even when a time when we felt very out of control. Anyways, a month after we lost our dad, our mom was actually diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's. It's hard to even say. Lymphoma stage 4. When we lose one parent and then the other parent gets sick, you have no control. You just feel helpless. So what happened was we kind of moved in with our mom. We said to our husbands, like, we'll be back. Our mom needs us. And truthfully, it was amazing. It was like,
it was a dream. It was like, we were just hopeful the whole time.
And our mom changed her mindset. She was all about positivity. She was all about surrounding herself with positive people and being optimistic. And she is 16 years in remission. It's like a miracle.
She's unbelievable.
It's not a miracle. It's willpower. It's when you decide, and I'm not saying that people who died don't have the willpower, but sometimes when you put it out in the universe and you say, I will not. Yeah. And sometimes that, I hear you. My mother-in-law died 7 days before my wedding.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We're okay with it. Tracy took a long time to get married. And when my mother-in-law, Linda, she was very excited for her to get married, and she died a week before our wedding. And so, and that was about 15 years ago as well. And then for us, it's kind of same thing. So she died on Christmas Day at the Christmas dinner table.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty nasty because she fell onto the table and everybody was around the table. And given the life experience that I have, I took control of the situation, got all the kids into the other place, called 911, started doing CPR on her and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
And so, when you're doing CPR on your mother-in-law and your wife and your father-in-law looking at you and go, can you please save her? I know where you're at. I know where you're at. So it's important to share these stories. It's important for people who will listen to this and say, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who has faced adversity. There are other people out in the world who are using their business. They're using capitalism as a vehicle for good.
Yeah. Right.
And so a lot of people think capitalism is a bad thing. If you use a methodology where you can generate revenue or a lifeline for yourself by doing what you do well, and people are ready and willing to pay you for that, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong in getting paid. We always associate, oh, well, you got to do this. Why are you getting paid if you love it so much? Well, because it's okay. Everybody needs to live. Everybody needs to take a vacation. I love my job. I love my work. I love my kids in rugby. Sometimes I just want to go with my wife for dinner without my kids. It's okay. It's okay, right? And too many people. And then 5 years after that, on Christmas Eve, my father-in-law passed away. So Christmas for us is pretty nasty.
It's horrible. We're so sorry.
It's okay. But when you think about Christmas at the Hunters, Tracy turns it around where she makes it all about festivities. It's not about gifts. It's about being around family. It's about living together. It's about inviting friends, about celebrating the season. Either you're Christian, Muslim, Hindu, it's about celebrating the winter solstice. It's about being family. It's not about religion for us. I think how you treat other people, and regardless of color, creed, sexuality, is how you want to be treated. It doesn't have to be attached with religion. So
we say that all the time. We always talk about how we preach it to our kids about how treat people the way you want to be treated. But at the same time, with loss and with moving forward, we also try to say, like, every time you cry, find a reason to smile. And Agreed. So it's like a dose of reality. Every time you cry, which you're allowed to feel sad, you're allowed to feel upset, but then also find a reason to smile, like bring joy and happiness and gratefulness to it, so that you can actually walk away saying, like, it happened and I'm going to pull the lessons from it, rather than staying in the negative and being bitter or angry, but realizing like for us, we always say to each other, like, we just want to make our dad proud of us every day with what we do, and being honorable people and trying to spread.
And the cute part is we always tell her, I'm like, we're so proud of you. And she says, I'm so proud of you. So we tell each other. So, the relationship we have with our mom right now is just so incredible, because we're writing a book together. And she's so amazing because she takes our feedback. We take her feedback. There's no, like, I don't like what you thought of. We're so collaborative. That, like, we just want to make it the best it can possibly be, which is kind of like our mantra in life. We just want to make everything the best it can possibly be. But I think that what we went through with those challenges, like, really taught us, like, our core message of, like, how you respond to things that happen to you. Because you can't always control what happens to you. It's like how you respond that really makes a difference and takes you to the next level. Yeah. And I think that over time we've become a source of support for our staff, our students, and our, like, the parents. And potentially maybe when the pandemic happened and people kept telling us, I don't know how you guys are so positive. You're totally shut down. They called us, like, the queens of positivity. And Marnie and I are like, who are you talking about? But the truth is that, like, I think that we went through our own personal pandemic with our parents' illnesses and things we couldn't control, that, like, we were better able to deal with the real pandemic because the whole world was going through it at the same time. So you didn't feel as, like, singled out or people looking at you with this, sad eyes, but we looked at, like, oh, don't be sad for us. We need to feel empowered. But I do think that the support is a really big piece of our story, because we support each other, but we also reached out for support for mental health. And we still see, like, our therapist every 3 weeks, and it's been 16 years. And we're big advocates to our staff and students about how, like, it's important to talk out your feelings and not hold anything inside. And even with our kids, we're really about moving forward and not, keeping secrets, and having, like, clear communication. Like, we always say that sometimes it's important to have a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough.
Oh, right? So true. I mean, there's three things that I really want to talk about in what you guys said. First of all, putting your emotions aside is not when you're saying, leave your emotions in the parking lot, people tend to forget, well, that's not really healthy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What you're doing is you're not ignoring it. You're saying, okay, right now I am needed by others to be in this emotional state. Okay.
Love it. Okay.
That's leadership.
Totally. Yeah, no,
you're
exactly.
amazing because we have this thing called the WIN philosophy, WIN, and it stands for what's important now.
Oh, shit. I love it.
Right? And so sometimes when you get so fixated on like, oh, I failed the test and I can't believe I got that mark on that test at school.
Or you worry about something that's happening 2 weeks from now. You're like, wait a minute, what's important right now?
What's important? Like,
I love it how you say it in tandem all the time.
It's so true though, right? It's so important. The WIN philosophy of like saying to yourself, it's not important about making plans and getting a reservation for 3 weeks from now. What's important is me getting my kids to school on time and showing them the healthy habits and having a positive attitude and smiling in the moment when things get tough. So we really try to remind ourselves of the what's important now, just as you said that, because it's exactly what you said, just in our little translated way.
I love it. The point that I want to make about crying. So I coach U16 girls and U12 co-ed. So there's a lot of tears, right? We're tackling people, right? And sometimes kids get hurt, right? And parents are on the sidelines. And this one time, her boy got hurt, and I say, hey, this is my team. This is my pitch. I'll take care of your kid. So I walk over. The boy gets up and you can see he's holding his tears back. I said, did it hurt? He says, yeah. I said, okay, stand up. Can you stand up? Yeah. Bury your head in my chest. Cry all you want. And so he breaks down. And so this is really emotional for me too. He breaks down. He cries. So he comes back up and he says, thank you very much, coach. I said, okay, you good? Are we staying on or are we coming off? Either way, I'm good. If it hurts too much to play, then we're coming off. If you're good, suck it up. A little bit of pain is okay. Can you keep going? Yeah. So I said, wipe your tears. And then, so she came back and said, as I walked back, her mom said, did he cry? I said, well, what is that going to change? And she's like, well, I want him to be a rugby player and stuff like that. And I said, oh, well, I don't know. Wasn't really watching. And so creating that safe environment, same thing with me. Like I've not let myself cry. And now I've given myself permission because what's important for me now, I love it when is that release of emotion that you say, okay, this is what's important for me now. Let's deal with it now. Okay, great. Dealt with it. If I need to cry in the parking lot, close the door, let it all out. Oh, take a breath. All right. Who needs me now? Doesn't mean that you can't come back to the car and cry after that, right? I think that's what we're all agreeing on.
Yeah. And I guess the truth is like every CEO probably feels the feelings we all feel. The three of us feel.
Exactly, right?
We're like, you're in control, then the next minute you're not in control, but you have to gain back control and you have to be a leader and you have to be a role model.
And you're really managing other people's personalities, right? And realizing that not the same formula doesn't work for everyone, right?
Exactly.
So we recognize that you can get the best out of people in so many different ways, whether it's using their name or using eye contact or giving positive feedback, or some people you can be tougher with, other people you have to be a little more gentle with your feedback. Like we've had to really learn how to tailor it, but it's true. And it's so amazing when you have those memories and those moments of like, that was your impact. That was your moment of knowing that like, that player will forever remember it, but so will you.
Yeah. We always tell people, when we see people who danced with us like 21 years ago, we'll see them and we'll remember their name. We'll remember their mom or dad's name. And they'll say like, you remember us? And we actually look at them right away and say, well, do you remember us? And they say, of course I remember you. So don't you think we should remember you too?
Right. Like we always say that we know that most kids come to Vibe for 1 hour a week, but like that 1 hour a week is important to you, but it's equally important to us. It's making a difference in our lives.
I'll never ever forget. We once went to the Raptors game downtown together. Someone gave us tickets, like a night out. So we went and we were like, patrons, and so many people saw us. They were so excited to see us. And then we went to the bathroom, and there was a woman cleaning the bathroom with her name tag, and we both said hi to her, and she goes, "You're the Raptor twins." And we said, "Yeah." And she said, and we like, "You remember us?" And she said, "You always said hello to me and used my name." And we're like, you remember that when we saw you and we danced to that, we used to use your name. I mean, she did have it on her, name tag. that is what we did. We always tried to make people feel important, right? That I guess that like we've only carried that now into our studio, and into like what we're trying to teach people in this world.
We also have like a name. Like it's very important for Marnie to use people's names. Listen, you know better than anyone. An athlete responds best when they hear their name. You can say knees up, knees up, knees up. The minute you say Martin, knees up, your knees are going high, right? So, but I think growing up as identical twins, people would call us like the twins, or like, in elementary school, they thought they were funny calling us, instead of Marnie and Rena, Marina, and like combine us together. The best was your sister's so ugly. That was the one that was stuck with us forever. And we were like, what? That is, it means like horrible. The other ones that you're horrible too, right? But we realized really early how important it is to be recognized for who we are as people, that we really remember people's names to almost to a fault. I'd like to filter other people in, but the truth is it's a skill. Because people feel like they feel like they matter, they feel like they're important when you use their name. In fact, there was a dad at Vibe this weekend. I was so excited. I'm like, he had a really cool name. So I remembered his name. He came in again, like, hey, how are you? How was your week? And he looked at me. He's like, are you going to call me my name every week? I said, yeah. He's like, you can forget my name. I'm like, no, you're just as important as your daughter.
I always say, what's the most important word in the dictionary? Somebody's name. That's the most important word, right? So that's what they've been associated with for the entire life. All right. Two things that I want to get tactically, because I think there's two things that I want to know. So one thing is an offering of a tool. So in my world, when we talk about feedback, we talk about the feedback engine. We don't give positive or negative feedback, because if I say, hey, Marnie, Rena, let me give you some positive feedback, you guys are going to say, okay, great. Hey, listen, this is what I've got, right? If I would say, hey, listen, Marnie and Rena, I'd like to give you some negative feedback or criticism. You see your eyes right away, like, who the fuck are you to tell me what I'm doing or what wrong or right? So change the language. Okay. Change the language. So if you're offering feedback to somebody positively, is that they have successfully achieved your expectation, right? So you said, okay, I wanted you to start here. You're on your way to there. You've successfully achieved half. So let me offer some success feedback. So instead of saying positive feedback, we say, hey, let me offer some success feedback. And everybody loves the word success. I have a hard time saying it. Dyslexia, I guess. All right. Number one. Number two is, instead of saying negative feedback or criticism, because it's always difficult to address, hey, Marnie, Rena, can I offer some guidance?
Oh, love it.
Can I offer you guidance? Okay. So now it's guidance feedback. So you started here. I expected you to go there, but you're kind of going this way. So let me guide you back to what the expectations were. Both of them use a very similar methodology. You like acronyms. I like acronyms. We use CAR, and that's why it's called the feedback engine. Context. Hey, Marnie, Rena, at the meeting yesterday, there's context. Both of you used the gentleman's name when you addressed him. The result of that is that it made him feel welcome within the studio. Context, action, result. When you give guidance feedback, right? So that's the success feedback. Use the same methodology. Hey, Marnie, Rena, during the recital, at the studio yesterday, here's a context. You guys were so energetic that you forgot everybody in the room. What's that? What do you think? Open-ended question. What do you think that has an impact on the people that were there and our business? Open-ended question. So you're letting them find the solution to how they need to guide themselves back. Food for thought for you guys. Just thought that it would be a good thing to put in there.
Wow, I love it. We love it from other people. It's amazing.
Good.
We're using it tomorrow.
There you go. I can use win. You can use card. Done deal. Shake on it. Well done. All right. I want to know, there's a lot of people out there that have struggled and often lost their business through the pandemic. And when I think about studios, like, what's the first thing that come off the list? Gyms, studios, restaurant. How did you guys survive and potentially thrive? I don't know. During the pandemic. Can you tell us, what did you guys do?
We did not give up.
We promised each other from the start that the only thing we could control was our mindset
and our attitude. Attitude is everything.
We actually heard a podcast the other day that just talked about how attitude is one of the most important words in the dictionary because it really dictates how you see the world,
how you respond,
which is really our core message about the decisions and the actions you take.
And I really think it's that whole sentence, I can, I will, I must.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we were just like that. We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We must do this.
Every single day while we were shut down, which was a lot. We got dressed in our vibe clothes.
Put on makeup, did our thing.
We didn't see anyone, but we were always in our vibe. We were always vibing. And we really stuck true to like just keeping it positive and staying happy.
And we also, I think, didn't really bring our problems home. Like we were around our kids a lot. And our family. And I think that we realized that like we can't be negative. We can't show them that we're following.
We're really big believers in being role models. Like at the end of the day, you're always modeling to your kids how you respond to situations when technology errors happen and things go wrong.
Our mom shared this story with us once about like a person that had someone do like a service at their business and their car broke down. So they said, I'll take you for a drive home. I'll drive you home. You're probably on the way. He dropped the person off at home and he said, come in and meet my family. And before he came in, the man like touched this tree and like put it on his heart. And then he walked into his house and he flipped a switch and was like, hello, honey, and introduced him. And then he exited and said, thanks, nice to meet you. And on the way out, the man who drove this man home said, you touched a tree and then walked in your house and then you became this happy, high energy person. But you were also sad because your car broke down and, it wasn't the best day. And he said, I made a promise to myself that that's my magic tree. I leave my problems there. I go in my house. I never bring my problems inside. And in the morning, I pick them back up and I leave and I take it with me, but move forward. So that resonated a lot with us because we kind of did it every day.
Yeah. Without really even thinking about it. I think it's just like ingrained in us to try to find the positives and the negatives and turn lemon into lemonade.
And everyone goes through adversity just at different times. Right.
Yeah. And so what did you do tactically? Like, what did you guys do? Did you shut down and put everything on pause? So we had to shut down
3 times and we tried to pivot a little to video and Zoom, but our clients really, it's not the same as being in a dance setting. And so we started a website called It's Time to Vibe and we did like some on-demand videos and it was amazing, but it didn't resonate as well with our clients, which is fine. Yeah, you got to try things. I mean, you can hear from our whole spiel here. It's all about like using names and making an impact and being together and having that energy that's contagious. So when you don't have that, it's not really the same.
Agreed.
So we did a lot of social media, a lot of like Insta stories and a lot of dances. And we did a lot of like Zoom classes that were free. Right.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
we realized that we really wanted to keep our vibe alive.
And so we'd say to kids, like, come close to the camera, come closer, show us your smile.
And we're like, we want you to be the happiest person in your house. So like, when someone says like, why are you so happy? You're going to say, Marnie and Rena told me
to be the happiest person in the, it's so cool.
And we would get emails from parents saying her daughter was going to bed with a smile going, Marnie and Rena told me I have to smile till I see them next. Marnie and I would be like, what? It was so amazing. But we also talked, we would give them we would honestly become like motivational speakers.
And we literally we pulled kids to the camera. We're like, you have so much power in your house. When you're happy, everyone else is happy. When you're angry, sad, in a bad mood, everyone is following your lead.
And then we talked about how if the lights went out and there was no power
and you found a candle and you took a lighter and you
lit
the candle. That candle has the power to light the whole room.
And that candle also can light other candles.
So that candle is you.
And all these kids are like, and all the parents that were listening were like, wow, like this could be like a TV show, right?
But the truth is it was really valid because they had so much power, especially when everyone was cooped up at home and you couldn't really go out.
And we tried to give them tips for like helping to undo the dishwasher and help with the laundry or like clean up. And your parents would be like, what's going on?
And you could just say, Marnie and Rena told me to just, help a little bit because I don't usually help.
So we really tried to use our platform to try to sort of spread good vibes in their houses and tell them about the power they had as kids. So I really feel like that's kind of helped pivot us and kind of like elevate us to the level where we want to be now, where we're like actually doing public speaking and we're using our voices to inspire people to like look outside of the box.
Our whole thing is people have power. You know that better than anyone. You've changed your whole world, I'm sure, in rugby because you believe in your power, which ignites power in everyone else, right? So that's how we really feel about what we do.
And we also meet people all the time that like as moms, they listen and they hear our voices loud and clear. And as dads, because we had an amazing dad in our life, we're always resonating to these amazing fathers that are, stop at nothing to make sure their kids have everything they need. And then on the flip side, we feel like teens and kids look at us and listen to us. you know? So we feel like we're like we have like all different kinds of audiences that are really listening to the words we're saying, that we're so careful about the message we're sending. And we really want to just like bring out the best in everyone and also remind them that they have a vibe inside of them. What is that vibe? And where can they take that vibe? And where is it going to go next? And just really celebrating who they are as people. But we feel like, you know, it's a unique angle that we're going at now, but we feel like we want to be able to infect more and impact more than just the people who walk through the doors of Vibe.
Yeah, and ignite confidence. Like, our sons are 12 years old right now, and they're like the social committee of all their friends. They're always like organizing like hangouts, and we're so proud of them for taking the leadership to bring people together, right? They're not talking badly about other people. They're really about connecting with others and actually making everyone feel important. So we're really proud of like that they're kind of taking notes.
There is, for the people who are listening, I hope that you're not just hearing two twins complete each other's sentences. Anybody else would talk like that. I'd be so frustrated. Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish? You guys are just so in tune to each other. It is absolutely beautiful to see. For the listeners, don't just hear the words. What are they saying? They have taken a brand, which is Vibe with Us. Vibe, just use the word vibe. They've taken that brand from a trade, right? Because let's call it a craft. You are dancers, and your craft is dancing. And you've taken your craft, and you're now using your craft to influence in a amazing way more people than just at the studio. Don't lose the trade. And that is the message that you can hear in Marnie and Rena, is that they have taken their brand. When I take all of the beautiful chatter that we have about attitude, skill, knowledge, experience, when you break it all down business-wise, the brand is everything. And you are living, dispersing, disseminating, encouraging other people to adopt your brand at any, I shouldn't say at any cost, because it's not any cost, is that everything that you do, live and breathe does that. And that's why people come back to you. They'll come back to the studio because purchasing is an emotional state. I want to purchase something because I know that it makes me feel good, or I know that it's going to make me feel good, right? So if I say this example all the time, I love hiking in the mountains. If I want to buy a new pair of hiking boots, it's because I want to keep my feet dry. I want my knees to hurt less. I want more grip and traction up the mountains. I see myself in the future, right? I see this. Yeah, I'm hiking bigger, badder, faster, stronger. I feel a lot more confident in it. Or I want to buy a beer because I like the taste of beer, right? I enjoy. Why do we see comedic acts, right? I went to see Joe Coy not too long ago. And why do we pay that amount of money? Because I want to feel good during that time, right? And so I want to bring it back. That is what you are doing. You're using your craft as dancers to create a vibe of positive influence around everybody you touch. That's business. As much as you think it is human nature. Capitalism, business is just a transaction. You are infusing energy, and you want more people to give you more energy. Therefore, they're ready and willing to pay you to learn more about or be part of. It's as beautiful as that.
So nice. So special.
Right? Because you guys are talking. You're all excited. I said, there's a business center line right in the middle of all of this that is absolutely beautiful, and how you've done your brand. Thanks. Like you're so good at it.
Oh, we truly believe that dance builds confidence. And one other thing that we haven't told you yet, actually, is we also believe that cartwheels build confidence. We actually became
that's right, the cartwheel thing. When Mark told me, I was like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, that was one part of the pandemic that we basically took this idea that we had, this light bulb that went off, and we turned it into a real life product that is on the market and selling on Amazon worldwide. And so we basically it was a need that we had at Vibe. Parents were visibly watching their kids not be able to cartwheel.
And cartwheeling is like a life skill. It's like riding a bike. Like once you learn to cartwheel, you can cartwheel anywhere. How many athletes cartwheel as a celebratory action? Like they do. Like,
but on top of that, people remember for their whole life whether they could or couldn't cartwheel.
I can roll really well, but
exactly. So we really want to change that. And so
we like to say we want to change the world one cartwheel at a time.
Exactly. So we basically became cartwheel scientists, and we measured and we took data and trials and errors, and we basically came up with a very, very useful, and it really, really works. To be honest, it's crazy how it works. And it's a colorful mat that shows kids ages 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and 8+, meaning adults can use it, how to actually put their hands and feet in proper places. So it shows you if you hit the targets, you're going to cartwheel. So and also it's all about like what any skill teaches you, the falling, the getting back up, the believing in yourself, the never giving up. So it
does become obsessive, because once you can feel yourself getting better, you just want to take another turn. And it can turn into a little bit of like a twister. You know, when you roll out the twister, it's like, it evokes fun. That's our goal, is that when you roll out the cartwheeler, like it only embodies fun and you're going to get better. And we have a few kids that have told us it's in their bedroom, and they literally like get up out of bed and then cartwheel to go get dressed, cartwheel out of their room, and they were ready for the day.
We like to say it's confidence in a box. It's basically like the backbone is what we do at Vibe, where we try to bring out the best in everyone that walks through the door. We want to bring out the best of anyone who touches the cartwheeler.
Yeah, we always dreamed of having like a product that could, embody what we stand for at Vibe and beyond like our Vibe clothes.
But like at the end of the day, like, we've done a lot of research. We didn't want to create like a meaningless widget. We wanted to create something with passion, purpose.
And we also knew like it's a very high quality product. It's a suede top finish. So we knew that if it wasn't going to be a good quality, people would come right back to us and say like it broke or fell apart.
Yeah.
So we literally have opened the ones that we have opened and we use at Vibe. We haven't even replaced.
Like it's been used by hundreds and hundreds of kids year after year at camp. So it's been
We're
very
really
exciting.
proud of the quality. And of course the purpose.
Yeah. So we have 2 kids each, and Vibe was the 3rd child that we had together. It's a little older than our children. And the cartwheeler is like our next child that we had together, because we want to see it like, just like you want any parent, you want to invest in your child. You want to support them. You want to bring out the best to them. You want to help them nourish and grow and develop. So we're definitely very passionate people about everything we do, but cartwheels is a big deal for us. So when we used to dance with the Raptors, we actually have this double cartwheel
thing where we're like
attached to each other, and we just keep going and going. So that's like our jam.
In fact, we did it. We can still do it. And we have this woman that was watching us do. She begged us to do it on her birthday. It was like a birthday present for her. So we're like, okay, fine.
It's a little weird, but we'll do it.
So we did it. And then
a little weird. Yeah. It's a little weird.
It was cute.
We did it. And this one other mom is the same age as us. And she was like, I know how old you are, and I don't think you should be doing that. We're like, don't worry, we're good.
We're good. We could do it with our eyes closed if we had to. But
so we're really passionate about that, and it's like a totally different world, because every step of it is hard.
Developing the product and then mass production and then bringing it here from overseas and then patenting it and
the website and constant
social
media.
It's a different business, right? Having service and putting a product is 2 different very skill set. It is completely different business. You have to think of logistics. You have to think about, diligence, due time, quality, processing. You have to, what's the price of the market? Where should I, there's a lot of variables in logistics. That's what a lot of people don't realize. They say, oh, I've got a great idea. Here's what I'm going to do. And they forget that operationalizing that idea is very, very different. A service from a widget, right? And then you guys had a great idea. Quality is, too many people tend to pump up the product. I feel that quality over the past maybe 5 years, probably through the pandemic, I guess, people are really starting to put more emphasis on a quality product than just pumping out, and I'm not picking on Chinese production, but Chinese goods that are made as quickly as possible to sell at the lowest price that lasts about 12 seconds in your hands.
We're all about integrity. We try to do everything with integrity. And to be honest with you, we really surrounded ourselves with the right team. We hired Soulmark, they're unbelievable creative, and our brother and our sister-in-law who are part of our team, who really help take our vision to another level, because you have to know what you're good at.
I think that as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, you're always
be like, I need to build my team.
Right? You can't do it all yourself.
We always say, like, even just the two of us, like, we try not to both do everything the same. We try to be good at different things. So
we use it. Actually, the terminology we say is divide and conquer. Right. And hire the right people. It takes a village. Right.
And they were really part of our step-by-step process of getting the car roller off the ground. So we're
too many young people and young entrepreneurs call themselves CEOs. I said, you're not a CEO. You're a chief everything officer. Right. So a CEO, you can be a founder, you can be an owner, you can be the, all of that. But a true CEO, there has to be an organization to lead. Just because there's 4 people in the organization doesn't mean that you're necessarily a CEO in, the more respectful kind of way. I appreciate that you want to take leader. And I'm not saying that to you, but I say it to the general population. Like, okay, you want to call yourself a CEO. You're 24 years old. You had a good idea. You hired somebody from the Philippines to help you out as a virtual assistant. Dude, chill. Right. You had a great idea. Yeah. Okay. Let's not push it too far out. No. Yeah. So you have a service. You have, for me, what I see in my conversation with you is that what you mentioned before, when we hire people and when we help organizations hire people, we always hire for ASCII. And that is attitude, skill, knowledge, experience, and energy. And you guys have really bookmarked. You've been able to demonstrate to me, and I'm assuming to the audience, that when you look at performance management of an organization, you look at the brand and you look at the values and you say, is the brand represented through attitude? Yes. Is it represented through skill, which in this case is dancing? Is it represented through the knowledge of a market and who you're serving? And does it demonstrate through the experience that you have of how to build something? And you've definitely hit the energy mark, that's for sure. And so, when I analyze an organization, especially a service, which is sometimes a little bit harder to see, if you say, okay, well, if I took Marnie and Rena out of Vibe Studios, would it still operate at the same velocity? And I think it does, because you've done such a great job of building that brand. Now, would you lose a little bit? Absolutely. But could it run on itself? I think it would. I think it could.
So sweet. We like to say we're a well-oiled machine.
But our staff are amazing. Like, we really, truly believe in them. Like, we actually had this kind of passage that we talked to them out at our last meeting. And we talked about how amazing is it to love your job, to know that when you come into work, people that you work for trust you. We want you to support you. And you actually leave feeling like, not only did I do a good job, but I actually feel really good about myself.
And let's be honest, not many jobs out there actually allow you to feel like you're making a difference. Right. And when you're doing a 1 hour, right, your 1 hour dance class, you can see the confidence growing.
It's a very altruistic job, right? Where your goal is to actually make other people better. Right? Not make you better, but actually make other people feel better. That in return, you feel so good about yourself because you made a difference.
We actually last year talked, because obviously we've been through a lot and ups and downs and masks and squares and sanitizing. And we said to our staff, we are giving you a wand of positivity. Here it is. You all have it. And you have an opportunity to actually turn the negative that's happening in the world into a positive when they walk through the doors of Vibe.
And we really tried to emphasize with all of our staff that, like, we have no idea what these kids have gone through at home, at school, socially, that, like, it's so important that when they walk through the front doors of Vibe, they feel the vibe and feel so good about themselves. And then when they leave, it's like parking your problems. They're better able to deal with everything else they can't control.
We've noticed a lot of kids, like, who are enrolled this year are in such a good place because their parents kept Vibe in their life throughout the pandemic. They kept, like, one constant. And listen, it was a stretch for a lot of people, and other people, no judgment. They weren't comfortable with sending their kids, no problem.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that there is something to be said about dance really makes you feel like limitless and celebrated and supported. And, like, you literally live in a different zone. Like, when we dance and we're with the 15-year-olds, we feel 14. Yeah. And, like, right? Like, it's just, you don't feel like, you don't really even see reality.
There's no limitations. There's nothing stopping you. It's just you, and you just are proud of yourself.
Right.
You find refuge in whatever activity. And I'm gonna put another sorrow for those who are listening. my daughter Ariel, I've coached her and coached her friends into field hockey and rugby as well. And on November 5th last year, we got a phone call that a young lady that I coached for half her life, summer, had taken her life at the age of 13.
No.
Right? And so we found out as we were coming off the rugby pitch, and Ariel has found refuge in rugby, right? You're 13 years old. You find out that one of your very good friends has committed suicide at the age of 13. I can't imagine.
No.
And so very supportive. Here we are, and you see her play, and you know that everything switches off. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but all she thinks about is crushing the other opposition. And she's like, that is her way of venting her emotions, of creating a space where she can be herself, regardless if it's a dance, at rugby, painting, piano, chess, baseball, soccer, whatever it is. If the craft is the mean for you to be you, it should always be celebrated and celebrated with hard work, not just, and please, for those who are listening, the dancing is a very athletic component to it. It's not easy. And so don't think that people are just going into the studio and going, I'm pretending to do something. It's very demanding. So, Marnie and Rena, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's actually like the type of sport that uses every muscle of your body, including your facial muscles. But when you think about hockey players, basketball players, they don't think about smiling while they dribble. They don't have to worry about that. Whereas in dancers, you actually need to use your facial muscles. Yeah. We always tell our staff, smiling is, you have to smile, not just with your mouth, with your eyes, with your, you really notice when
you do
is happy and smiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Last question for each of you. I asked this all my guests. Marnie, what is the book, the reference, the movie, the show that is on your nightstand that you have referred to your entire life? Okay. Is there a movie that you think of and you go, oh, when I'm scared, when I'm thoughtful, when I'm leading, I always go back to this movie, to this book, to this saying? What is it that you have?
Can it be a TV show?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I would say Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
And yeah, I guess that whole concept of there had to be a better way, that everyone uses as their pitch, that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, that you can think of a better way to do something, just like our dance studio, just like the cartwheeler, just like our idea of inspiring kids to be the most powerful people in their house.
Wow.
So
that's really
I guess
cool.
That would be it for me. I'm always, every time I watch a show, and I know Rena's the same, we leave feeling very inspired of,
wow. Well done.
how much more we can do.
Okay, Rena, you've lost it. You come in second. You got to pick something else.
I'm going to mention this, but I know that somebody else who's been on the show has mentioned it. But, the secret and the whole law of attraction concept, I think that the mindset is everything, and the positivity and manifesting positive things. And I think that you've heard a little bit of our story and the challenges and the highs and lows in life. And I think that it's exactly what our core beliefs is all about finding how you respond to situations is really the lessons you take with you to. We always used to say during the pandemic that it's preparing us for the next challenge in life. This is hard.
So true, yes.
It's hard for everyone. And people were very negative, and people were very, very controversial with the government and all the rules. Yeah. And Marty and I just kept smiling and saying it is what it is. We're going to dance in boxes. We're going to wear masks. We're going to do what we have to do. We started to do we started to do fun TikToks to positive songs, Safe and Sound. You're safe and sound. And then don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right. And we had this one song that was it's fine. I'm fine. Okay. All right. So we had this whole belief. And I really think that in our mind, every obstacle that we've had, and we've had other challenges in business with, lots of ups and downs, that we've always had that mindset, that the concept of, okay, if we are going to, we see the finish line. We know where we are now, but where we want to be. And I feel that the secret is very inspiring with all the different imagery and all the different concepts. And I think every time you watch it, you can learn something from it, which is really what life is all about. Like every step you take and every day is a new opportunity to be better and better at what you do and who you are. And so we always tell our staff and students, like, we want to be better tomorrow, right?
I think I said to class last night, if you did a math test today and you got 8 out of 10, the next time you do a math test, do you want to do 8 out of 10 or better? You want to do better, right? So you have to approach that with everything, that whole spillover effect of like, you really want to take those values of like always trying to be better with everything you do.
And I think we've also conditioned ourselves, like with The Secret and all the other like law of attraction mentality, about thinking maybe it's a good thing. So when things don't go right, maybe it's a good thing. Yeah. When you have to change and you have to pivot, maybe it's a good thing, because maybe you're going to learn a better, more efficient way of doing it, or you're going to learn something different out of it. So we always try to like not allow ourselves to get negative, but to think more about like, maybe it is a good thing. And 9.99% of the time.
All the time. You close one door and then 2 other open, and sometimes you attach yourself to something so you go, I'm going to fix it. 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 And the day that you go, screw this, I'm done with it, the next morning you wake up and you go, oh, look at that. So you've been so focused on that. You've put so much energy towards that one thing. And then as soon as you let go of that energy, you turn it around, you go, oh, and it's just law of attraction, awareness, your focus. It's just, I agree. And
your attitude. I think at the end, and people can feel your energy, right?
Oh,
so
when absolutely.
You have like, okay, we also love Jennifer Lopez. It's not really tied into your question, but we do. We actually met her in July 7th, 2020. 19. And we'll send you the picture after we get up. This is over. But it was amazing. We met her face to face and we talked, and she actually asked us about our story, and we told her all about our life and the ups and downs. And she literally ended meeting us saying,
so we said, we're just so inspired by you. And like, everyone can be a J-Lo fan. There's no limitations, and everyone can dance in our dance studio called Vibe and adopt our values of accepting everyone for who they are.
But and she looks at us and says, I'm so inspired by you. And we were like, oh my God, Jennifer Lopez is inspired.
That's it. Life can be over. Jennifer Lopez said that
when she was on American Idol and they did the whole like singles came together as groupings, and there was a lot of conflict and controversy, and
some people went to sleep and some people stayed up, and it was like all this drama.
And I'll never forget, we were sitting on the edge of our seat, and the 4 of them were on stage, and she said to these people that had a massive like meltdown and negativity, and she said, why do you think half of Hollywood wants to work with me? And Marnie and I are like, tell us, Jennifer, tell us. And she literally looked at the camera, zoomed in on her, and it said, I'm fun to work with.
You know, J-Lo's going to be there. You're going to have a good time.
And we always say that to our staff. When you're working in Vibe, when you're working with us, we're under all the same leadership, and we're building up.
If you're with us, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Right? And I think that makes work not work. It makes work something that's more meaningful and deep and inspiring and motivating. And it also makes you realize, like, what's your vibe? Your vibe is like, it actually defines who you are, right?
That is full circle. That is full circle. Like from where we started to the title, there it is. There is always a moment that we come full circle. Yeah. Marnie and Rena, what a joy to have you on the show.
Oh, we're so touched.
Can we show you something funny? When we used to go out, we used to dance like this at like clubs.
We'd like make eye contact.
And then we switch.
And then we just like be like, hey, ho. And then we go faster. and then with the people looking at us would be like, am I going crazy? No, there's two.
No, like, how many beers have I had? It's like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. And I can only assume that you guys are like this 100% of the time. Oh, I should say 100%. Let's go 60% because there is, 8 hours of sleep that should go in there as well, right?
Well, it is true. You have to be consistent. We truly believe in consistency.
And we also believe in like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so we are intense people. We are passionate people, and we are all in. And we really do live by moving forward in life and trying to like learn every day something new
and giving 150% and
spreading good vibes that are contagious every step of the way.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
With that said, my name is Martin Hunter. I am the host of What CEOs Talk About. Today, we translated what it means to live your brand into day-to-day operations. Marnie and Rena are living examples that you can make a difference, make money, and make happiness around the world by truly living your value in your brand. And in this case, it's, what's your vibe? So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for tuning in to What CEOs Talk About. Make sure to click subscribe to get notified about future episodes, or check us out at www.whatceostalkabout.com.